friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my August updates video, showing you everything that's going on in my plant collection in the month of August 2023, because we're already in August 2023, which is crazy. Yeah, just the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, pests, new leaves, happiness, sadness, all the things. But before we get into it, I just want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. And yeah. Also, I do want to say, if you haven't already gotten your new Good Growing merch, this is one of the two designs. This is the other one. I know I've spoken about it in several videos lately, but I am obsessed with it, and I know a lot of y'all are as well. Some of you have even gotten yours by now, which is freaking crazy, and I'm so excited to see everyone who has got the merch wearing it. Like, it just makes me so happy that y'all are loving it as much as I am. So yeah, if you're interested, I'll put the link down below in the description, but obviously no pressure. It's just a bit of fun and good message and a cool rocky tee, and then the other one's like tarot-y, which is cool as well. So yes, without further ado, let's get into it. I guess we can start in the office, because I think things are going pretty well in here for the most part. There's definitely still some issues going on. I'm pretty sure I do still have thrips in a lot of these places. I am using predatory mites, so I'm doing the best I can, but it does take a while. It's not just like an easy fix on that. I'm going to be doing a whole video on thrips soon, but I guess I can show you what's going on in here. I think one of the main things that y'all probably haven't seen is that this is discolor. I like twisted a coat hanger to make a bit of a trellis, because they like quite thin things to hang on to, so I've just put that on there, and I think it's growing well like that. I mean, I hope. We'll see if it actually like latches on properly or not. Not much is going on with these small ones down here, little peperomias and deciduas and hoyas and stuff. I think this peperomia that I got from the swap, it does have like mycelium bloom on it, but I think they're rooting in there, so I don't really want to disturb them. I'm just gonna leave it for the time being. The main thing over here is that this is just like massively dehydrated. I did just water it. Frick, what's it called? Chamaranthemum venosum is doing well. It's still growing, but it is really, really dehydrated right now, so I've just watered it, and it should be popping back very, very soon. I've managed to get the thrips completely off of my variegated heartleaf. You can see I've got lots of predatory mite stuff on here, including a slow release sachet, and there's like the vermiculite from the fast acting stuff as well. But yeah, there's not that much on this shelf that's like new or exciting. Just here, this is that, sorry, it's like quite full of water because I literally just watered this one as well, is my Mexicanum wet stick. Oh, I've just poured water all over the floor. That's okay. My Mexicanum wet stick from when I got my rare plant shop plant rescue box. This and one cutting were all that was left from it, and the wet stick has actually done really, really well. You can see it's got multiple growth points, and I might end up chopping between those growth points and growing it up a pole or something to hopefully get back the cool Mexicanum splits on it, because that would be awesome. Moving up to the second to top shelf, again, things here are growing pretty well. My light vein Maranta, I mean, absolutely freaking stunning. I don't think it's been really affected by thrips or anything, which is really, really good. And oh, my peperomia, both of them, the little freckles here, has popped out some new growth. You can see that in there just a little bit, as well as the pink lady has also popped out a little something there, which is super freaking exciting. I'm really glad that those are doing well. I was worried about them, seeing as they were just like single leaf sort of cuttings, but they're growing very well at this point, so I'm not worried about them anymore. I think I'm gonna leave them in the super humid zone for a little bit longer. This, you will have seen if you're on my Patreon, is a mixed pot of Tradescantia, and it's just like several different types that I had propping in the same water vessel, and now I've just potted them up in soil together because I kind of like the mixed vibe a little bit more than just one or the other, and I feel like Tradescantia, you need quite a full pot in order for it to look full, and so this is like the way I've decided to do it. It feels really weird because I'm not normally one to pot different plants together in the same thing, but I think it's actually okay for this one. And I'm also not the biggest fan of Tradescantia in the world, and I couldn't name all of these different types, but they are pretty, and I think they look cool together, just like that. And then carrying up to the top, the lighting's really weird, but this is just my zone where things are just going okay. I think these three over here, my Silver Sword, my Big Monstera, and my Frigidea White Stripe, have no longer got thrips on them. I think I haven't been paying too much attention to them, but I'm pretty sure that they're good now. These ones never really had thrips, and they're just continuing to grow like perfectly well. So happy with these. Nothing special going on around here. And then we can look at the top of the Rudsta. Maybe let me turn this light off so you can see better in general. Yeah, that's actually quite a lot better. But the main thing that's happened is my Clarinervium has put out this gorgeous leaf. It's doing so well. It is so soft and velvety. It's got another one down here which is a little bit crusty, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'd rather it just be like this though. So pretty, and like a decent size. Not necessarily the size up, but a decent size. I am struggling a little bit with my Ernestii, which I'm actually really sad about because I know this is a plant that not many people have. This is a cutting that I got from Claire. You can see it literally has one leaf and it's already going meh. It does not have pests, but it's also lost so many other leaves throughout this time. And it does have a new one coming in soon, but I don't know why it keeps losing these leaves. I think potentially it could be the darkness, and I'd like to put it somewhere slightly brighter. It does have the Pianta grow light shining on it almost all day, so I'm hoping that that helps. And I've been okay with this moss pole. It is fairly dry right now, so that is a me issue, but I don't know, any advice would be greatly appreciated for that one. Carrying on into the Rudsta, my cacti cabinet, it is looking so freaking full now, and I am loving it. I love this like entire vibe of things going on in here. I think it looks great. So full, and like since I potted up these bunch, I've just kept them in the tray, to be honest. They're not in water or anything, it's dry, but having them in an easy to take out tray is quite useful. But things are definitely growing. You can see the Euphoria ingens, or ingens, I don't know exactly how you say it, but you can see it's properly growing there, as well as the Blue Myrtillo. It's also growing. It's a little bit harder to see, but I think where that line is there, that's what's new growth for me. I've got it on several of the little things on it, like the back one as well. So things are growing, and they're growing well, which is very good. And if you didn't see in my haul video, I got myself a booby cactus recently, and it is freaking adorable. I love this little thing. I find it so cute, and it also looks like it's growing quite well. I need to look back at what it was looking like right when I got it, because I didn't get it that long ago, but it does look like it's growing, and I think it does have to do with the amount of quite intense light that it's getting from the Arcadia Jungle Dawn grow light there. This light is bright. Like, these plants up here are basically getting indoor full sun all day. There is one that's not doing well. It's my little Buddhist temple, and I used to have it up at the top, and I think that was just a little bit too bright for it, and it got too dry, and it's gone a little bit funky, and I don't think there's anything I can really do about it at this point. It's just too far gone. Maybe with that one there. It's the only one that's looking like it's still living. The rest are very, very dry, unfortunately. But I did give these their monthly water very recently. I think it's going to be in my plant tours video coming up. But I gave these all a good water and made sure that they were nice and hydrated for the month. And I think that they will be glad they were. And hopefully get a little bit, maybe, some new growth out of there. Because that would be very cool. But I'm just absolutely loving this space, and I don't even mind that I'm using that for storage at the bottom. I think it's absolutely fine. But I have some exciting things coming. Magnetic pot holders to go on the back there, which I'm gonna kind of adjust this whole thing when that happens, but I'll be sure to show y'all. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on in the Rudsta. Mostly good things, and I am still absolutely loving it as a cacti cabinet. And, oh, I should also say, it is 65% humidity, which is quite high. And I did get some of those dehumidifier things back there. There's just one in there, but I don't think it's done anything. So I'm really not sure if that's gonna work or if I'm gonna need to get like a proper one. But for now, they don't seem to be minding that much. These two areas are the ones I'm having issues with, and I guess I can show you what's going on with them. This zone has thrips, and the only treatment I've been doing on them has been literally going up and inspecting each leaf and seeing whether or not it has thrips on it. If it has a thrip, I will squish it with my fingers. That is the amount of control I am doing with these at the minute, which isn't very much. I did just recently get some more predatory mite sachets, so those will go on this zone, but you can see that my crystallinum has been affected by it massively. This leaf is probably gonna have to go. I should probably just cut it off at this point. But yeah, not ideal. I think they got it from the El Choco, which doesn't seem to be affected by them anymore. They seem to not be bothered by this plant and don't like it as much as they like the crystallinum. And I'm honestly not worried that it's touching the sarcophylla down here, because the sarcophylla is so thick in its leaves, like they are thick and juicy. So it doesn't, like, they don't really go for it, which is awesome. You can see a bit of a new leaf in there though, which is very exciting. And my mom has put out a new leaf too, which doesn't have any thrips on it. I have checked it several times because I'm literally every single day going up to this area and squishing any thrips by hand at the minute. And I've been checking all of these sorts of leaves to make sure that they're fine. And this mame doesn't have any on it. But I mean, I'm gonna keep being careful about it and paying attention, because I would not like them to spread, but honestly, it's been fine. Like, it's not that bad, and it's kind of manageable. I mean, I wouldn't want to do this with my entire collection, but for now, this is absolutely fine. This area here is my spider mite zone. I am currently treating these plants for spider mites, both with predatory mites, and I have done some washing of these leaves. I've kind of missed a couple weeks of washing them since I put the predatory mites, these ones, on, because I didn't want to wash the predatory mites away immediately. But since it's been a couple weeks since I've got that, I am very, very soon going to go in, do an alcohol wipe with these again. And since I just got more slow release sachets, I'll put those on after I've washed this off to make sure that they're good. But it was mostly on the fry deck, and I've honestly not seen many more signs of them. Like, this is one of the main affected leaves, and I don't really see any webbing on them anymore, which is super positive. So I'm not that mad. And my banana plant is growing new leaves, so it's fine. It's fine. Since the last month though, I have chopped up entirely my Calathea ornata at the suggestions of some of y'all. And what I've done is I've chopped it up entirely, put it in this plastic bag for humidity and put predatory mites in there as well to kill off any remaining spider mites that could be in this soil. It does have one bit of new growth in there, which it had before I chopped it. I just didn't cut it off. Oh, these are getting kind of mushy though, so I don't know. Maybe I need to chop it further. I'm experimenting. This is never something I've done before, but I'm giving it a go, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, I mean, it's fine. I wasn't very keen on this plant anymore anyways, so it's all good. Going into the bedroom, excuse the bed being slightly messy. I tried to make it, but little Miss Cleo in there kind of gets in the way sometimes while I'm making the bed. She is doing really, really well, by the way. Cutie with a booty, sleeping away. But this video is not about her, it's about my plants. Yeah, things in here. I feel like I never have anything to update on the plants up here just because they're so chill, and I kind of almost don't even notice them growing. I know they are because, like, look, there's new leaves up there, but I just don't notice it as much. But I think this Micans is doing quite well. It might not be getting quite enough light in this zone. We are quite far away from the window, but it is growing, so better than nothing. Otherwise, these things are just growing absolutely fine. Nothing that special going on with them. I did recently chop up my Rudsta tetrasperma. I had so many like runners going off the top, and I've put them as cuttings up there. You can kind of see them, but I just chopped it basically to the top of the pole because that was what I could handle at the moment. It was just like getting annoying to water and in the way, so it's better like this now. I probably should give it an extension at some point, or just let it like fully climb on the walls. I did have a plan to like switch it with this pothos and move this pothos, but I'm not sure if I want to do that now because I feel like the pothos is growing really, really well along these beams, so I don't know. My mistletoe cactus is definitely growing. You can see these little sort of like pom-poms of bits coming out, which is so good, and I'm just loving having it kind of over my desk area, which is here. But yeah, it's just doing so freaking well and happy and healthy, and I'm loving it. My other one, which we'll get to in a second, is not doing as well, but it's still fine. It's just not as well as this one here. Above my desk, I've got a few things. Ignore these Florida Ghosts. They're for the plant swap. They're not like technically mine. My Stefania erecta hasn't really done anything since it's put out this leaf, which is absolutely magnificent, but it's not really done much. I don't know if I've just not been watering it enough or what, but I'm hoping I can get it to grow more than just the one leaf. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of cute with just the one leaf, so I wouldn't be mad if it was just that. Everything else up here growing fine, except for the Hoya polyneurobroge, which we're just not going to talk about that because it's not doing well, and I'm hoping that I can nurse it back to health, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Things are doing well in the window here. It's kind of hard to show you because of the light, but my Hoya rosita is blooming once again, which is super duper exciting, and it does have so much sap on it. This is the one that I tried, and it was delicious. Not sap, nectar, that's the word for it. But it is delicious. I haven't seen any other peduncles on this one, I don't think. So I don't know if I'll get any more, but the fact that it's blooming a little bit must mean it's somewhat happy, I would think. This is my other mistletoe cactus, and it's not doing terribly, but it's also not doing great. I feel like it's getting some new growth down the bottom here, but it's just, I don't know, it's not dropping as much as it was before. I don't know if I'm just not giving it enough water, or it's not getting enough humidity in this zone because they are epiphytic, these cacti. But the other one's doing absolutely fine, so maybe it's just, it needs a little bit more attention because it is in a brighter spot because it's right up next to this southwest facing window. So maybe I'll try and give this one a little bit more water, and hopefully it will perk up from that. This zone is very full at the minute. I'm actually tempted to move my grow light higher up to give these hanging plants a little bit more space between the ones below them, because it feels like they're quite intensely there, and a lot of these plants behind have gotten quite tall anyways. Like my Epipremnum Amplissimum Silver Stripe, it's way off the top of its moss pole at this point. I should probably extend it even, but for now it's fine. My fern leaf doing well as usual, putting out some new growth throughout, which is nice. And the new growth that I had on my ZZ before was this one here, which is properly going black very nicely. And I'm still getting new bits up, not like every day, but quite frequently. You can see the light green bits are the ones that are a bit more new. My Hoya Polyneura, I decided to give it a big prune and hope that I can get it to start growing a little bit better again. So I have got all of these cuttings down here from it. They're all top cuts, and I'll probably bring some to a swap at some point, but I felt like it needed it. It hasn't been the happiest in a while. I've moved it out of the direct sun because I think that was too much for it. But I'm hoping it likes things a little bit better now that it's been chopped. It's kind of too soon to tell, but I think it should be okay. And then lastly, we have my messy sort of not bedside table, like bedroom shelves table zone. And again, things are doing just about okay here. I feel like it's time to chop my String of Hearts Silver Glory again, because it is nearly reaching the table. Like, we are so close, and it's getting so full. I cannot believe that I got this plant as such a tiny little thing. It was like a couple strands, and now it is so much thicker and fuller and doing really well. Same with this Ripsalis. I cannot believe how much it's growing. It's kind of hard to see even the collection of how much it's grown since it's like surrounded by other things, but it is doing really well, and I love the seaweediness of it, and it's just nice and happy. My little prop experiment, I will do a whole video on it at some point, but you can definitely see that there are roots forming in things. This is the fluval stratum. This is the tree fern fiber, which I haven't seen any roots in, but maybe. And this is the moss, so I feel like those two are quite comparable. This one might have roots, I just can't see them from the outside. Maybe I need to give it a water, but I haven't watered anything else, so I don't know. Also, the one in water does have roots as well. So we'll pull those all out at some point and see. But for now, I'm happy with how the experiment is going and looking forward to seeing the results a bit closer in due time. Unfortunately, I have had thrips in this little cabinet thing. I think they came on the varicosum here, and they spread a little bit to the Syngonium 3 Kings, which is a shame. It's a bit of yellow leaf that I should probably pull off. But otherwise, things are doing okay. I do have, you can see, predatory mites in there, and I think they are definitely helping. But, I mean, otherwise, there's not that much going on here. It's just gotten kind of full with the alocasias. There's several alocasias in here, and they're just kind of filling up the space. But it is staying very humid. It's like 78% right now, and that's just because it has been open. You can see it does, like, it's not sealed at all. Like, there's cracks there. Yeah, you can see it's lowering as we speak because it's been opened. But there is cracks there. It's not like it's sealed at all. But it does tend to keep a little bit more humidity, especially since there are plants in semi-hydro in there. That definitely helps with the humidity situation on these. I just have a couple things going on in the kitchen at the minute. I've taken this out of the cabinet because it was getting to be kind of a pain to water because it didn't have a cash pot underneath it. And I like to water things in situ, so right now it's just living here, which is not a permanent situation, but it's what it is for now. I'm really glad that my Alocasia poly leaves, the new ones that were coming in, haven't like pushed the old ones out yet or at all. I'm still living with a nice 4-leaf Alocasia poly. And then, funny story about my Dracaena. We were having ant problems in our home, which is kind of sucky and gross, but we could not figure out where they were coming from. They looked like they were coming from like the walls, But I went to water this plant the other day and I saw hundreds. I'll insert a little clip, trigger warning if you don't like ants, but I'll put in a clip. I saw hundreds of them crawling around in this pot. Oh my god, it was disgusting. I hated it, and so I immediately like took the plant outside, washed off all of the soil, everything, threw it all away, and then repotted it in some new stuff. And since then, we haven't had any ants, so knock on wood, I think we are in a good spot with it. I mean, it didn't stop it from growing. It's still growing phenomenally. I think it might be growing less white. Like you can see the amount of white that is down at the bottom than at the top. But I don't mind. I kind of like these like cool racing stripes it's got on it at the minute. So happy as it is, and we don't have any more ants, which is great. And then lastly, we have the living room. I think I'm actually gonna start in the IKEA cabinet because I haven't started in there in a little bit, and I'm so freaking excited about that. So let's go inside. Do you see that? Do you see my freaking regal producing again a freaking huge leaf? Look at that, and it's still not fully hardened off yet. The one behind it is obviously huge as well, but it is doing so well. I'll put pictures of how it's done over the past, like, I guess about a month now, nearly. Which is, I mean, I can't believe it's been nearly a month of it growing out, but it is growing beautifully. I do think I am going to have to take this one out of the cabinet once it's hardened off. I don't want to do it before that because I don't want to risk, like, stressing the leaf out and, like, while it's hardening off, because then it's much more at risk of something weird happening to it. Once it's hardened off, it'll be a bit more stable and I'm not gonna need to worry about it as much. At the same time I do that, I will likely move my Warocqueanum out. I'm still not sure where I'm gonna put them though, to be honest, because they're not small plants, and I don't have tons and tons of like big plant room. So I guess we will see what happens with that. I'm honestly not enjoying this tree fern fiber totem all that much. You can see some things just like haven't done well on it. And I don't know if it's just because I'm not hydrating it frequently enough, or if there's pests on here, or what. Like, they're not quite attaching. Maybe I need to water it more often. But like, this one in particular is quite difficult to water because I can't just put a cup on top of it like I can with the one that I put in my like D-shaped moss pole, which I have taken out of here, by the way. It's on my counter on the sideboard, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, this one so far, I thought I was gonna like it the best, but so far it's not my favorite. We can get more into that in a specific video down the line, but for now, we're just gonna hope that these turn out okay, the splendid on here. My Monstera dubia, since I did the moss pole extension on that one, which I don't know if I actually showed you, I think I didn't in the end, but I extended both of my dubia moss poles off camera, and it is growing into it again. You can see there's a little root there growing in, and I'm hoping that I can get it to grow big beautiful leaves, but I'm hoping that I can get this to properly shingle before it gets to the top. And once it gets to the top, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna have to do something because it's like, it's not far away, but it's not close either, so I think I have time, just not tons, if it continues growing at the rate at which it's growing now. Up top, I mean, as per usual, it is a bit chaotic up here, and things tend to just get a bit stuffed in the top. I think I really need to go through my cabinet and really take a look at how I want things to be again, because as of right now, I'm not able to like access as many plants in here as I would want to, but it's something that'll happen in due time. Not right now. For now, what I have done with my Hoya australis Lisa, which was growing a crazy long runner, I have put it onto a stake here, and since I've done that, it has popped out several little leaves along that runner, and I think it'll probably put some more out as well. hopefully. But it's doing really, really well in this spot, which is great. My Alocasia reversa just put out this huge leaf. I mean, for it is quite big because some of the other leaves are much, much smaller. So I think that one's doing well. And my Alocasia dragon scale also just put out this brand new leaf. You can see how bright it is compared to the others. But again, doing really well and staying very, very happy. Oh my goodness, I've just noticed on my begonia white ice, like the tips of the leaves, like it's getting more variegated. Because like at the bottom, the tips don't go into like straight ice, but here they're going into that like straight iciness, which is so cool. I think it's loving the amount of light and humidity it's getting in here. Like I said, I cannot believe that this begonia is growing so well for me. It's just such a surprise. I never thought that it would grow well for me. I don't know if that's just me being pessimistic, but begonias in general I've not had the best luck on, and so the fact that this one is doing really well makes me immensely happy. But otherwise in here, there's nothing like in particular that I feel like I need to say at the top here, at least. On top of the cabinet, I actually have a new plant that my friend Lisa gave me, Happy Plant Collector. This is a Arabapoense Billy Tie hybrid, and she just wasn't loving it as much anymore, so I have adopted it, which is exciting. I do have a small cutting of that in the office, but she was just not loving her big one anymore, so she gave it to me, which is very, very exciting, and I'm hoping that I can treat it well. It's just up here for now because I didn't have anywhere else that I could feasibly put it, but I feel like I need to get it on a moss pole. I think that will help it a little bit. The Gloriosum behind it, you can actually see, so one, that leaf there is the new one from last time, and it's still facing an awkward dark corner, but you can see there's 2 new leaves in there as well. So those are from the 2 separate growth points. I think this one must be like a brand new growth point on it, which is very exciting, and it just means that this one is happy. I was a bit worried for a while because it did lose a couple leaves right after the transition, and some have gotten a tiny bit crispy, and I don't know what's going on with the yellowing there. Don't think it's pests, but yeah, I'm just glad that it's properly growing again and it is happy in its zone. Both of my string of hearts and the propagation are all immensely long again. I could probably put these in with, what are these, the variegated ones? Yeah, that's the variegated props there. I could probably put those back in there and prop some more. I'm just constantly propagating these ones. I'm kind of tempted to join them all together though, because I don't think I would mind a mix of variegated and non-variegated in the same pot. And it would kind of save me a little bit of room, I think. What do y'all think? Should I combine them together or leave them separate? Because I could do either, but I feel like I really want them together. I don't know, tell me what to do down below in the comments and I'll do whatever has the most votes. And then down here, my space below the TV has again just like gotten full. It always does. My little terrarium is doing well. Let me see if I can zoom in and we can get that little springtail on the move there. Oh my goodness, I am loving watching this one. I think the plants in there are adjusting well. I'm hoping they are. I haven't really opened it up since. I did spray water on it. I didn't really mention it in the video, but I did spray water on it, so it is moist and I don't need to worry about that. But I think it's doing well. It looks like a little environment. And I got another terrarium to fit like the kind of remaining stuff, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this one so far. Look at all those little springtails. I mean, you can see like 3, but they're so freaking cute. I don't know why I find them so adorable, but I do. I think they're really, really cute. I did recently move my Peperomia Ice Queen here because I'm hoping that I can pay attention to it a little bit more in this space. I don't think it was as happy as it could have been in the office where it was before. And I think it is liking this spot a little bit better. It's not getting too much light. It's like 2 meters away from the window. It's getting a little bit of grow light from the cabinet, but not tons. And because it's like right in my view when I'm like in the living room, I can make sure that it's getting watered nicely. So I think it definitely will appreciate that. I only moved it like a couple weeks ago, so I'm still watching that progress, but hopefully I can get it to look a little bit healthier and maybe even grow some of these huge leaves again, because that would be amazing. I am still forever amazed at the growth on this. Look at that. It's doing phenomenally. Like, I cannot believe how well it's doing. It looks so happy and full and lush. And like, I'm just so pleased with how well it's doing. So I'm just, this little guy. It's so freaking cute and I'm so proud of it. I love it so much. And like, that confidence has spread into getting more peperomias as well. Like, I got these ones in a swap from a friend. Actually one of my patrons, which was very, very nice. I still need to send him something. Unfortunately, I've been really, really bad about that. But I'm gonna send him something back for these. But there's some cool little peperomias. I'll put their names on the screens. And then my Schismatoglottis, which is, I think, absolutely loving this zone. It does have a couple yellow leaves down the bottom, and then this one was an issue from where it was living before, but it is putting out new growth. And actually, it was dehydrated this morning. I didn't get any footage of it, but I watered it before filming this video, and it's actually perked up a little bit since. So it's crazy how freaking thirsty they are. But now that it's in a better soil mix for it, I think it is liking it a bit better. I'd have to stay really on top of watering this one and water it more than I water like any of my other plants. I am absolutely loving having my Monstera in this corner, and I think it's loving it as well. It has popped out this new leaf, which I know is further getting unfenestrated and smaller, but it's bigger than the previous one, even though it's unfenestrated, and it does have a slight bit of variegation on it, but it's freaking tall. It's at the top of the moss pole, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm gonna have to chop and prop back to the bottom, because I don't have that much more vertical space. Like, Cleo's bed is just there. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit anything taller than that in. I don't know. I think I'll probably end up deciding later, but yeah, I think I probably will need to chop this Monstera. The little guys at the bottom here are doing well too. Little Rhodophytophore Tetrasperma, absolutely loving life, just as they do. They're just such easy plants for me. I find them so simple. And then my Ficus elastica Taniki is also doing phenomenally. The one thing I do find with these two though, is that they are harder to water, because when I water, the water just goes straight out through the bottom. So it's harder to tell if they are getting enough compared to the Monstera and like things that are in a cash pot already. Because what I tend to do with my watering is I will water it, let a little bit soak to the bottom, and then let it sit in that water for a little while and absorb it up, because you're not going to get all the moisture in immediately on the first bit of water. So I think I just have to find myself watering these ones a little bit more. I can tell this one's a little bit floppy, so I'll probably give it some water today. But otherwise, this zone doing well, and I'm keeping this moss pole so hydrated. I'm very proud of myself for that. And then the last section, my good old sideboard. The main thing that has happened is this freaking monstrosity of a leaf. Oh my glorious. Holy freaking cow, it is huge. Like, I can't even show you the size properly on it, but it is a big one, and so happy. This one's also getting close to the top of its extended moss pole, so I'm gonna have to chop and prop this one again as well. Or I could chop it where the extension is, which I think about there, and like start from that. It already does have a second bit down here, which I think has only grown this leaf since I put it in the bottom. It's taken a bit to adjust to this setting, but I think it is starting to grow properly now, which is great. This is my other dubia that I put on an extended moss pole, and it's also doing okay. I have tons more room to fill in the moss on this one. I just didn't want to put too much in all at once because it'd be harder to water like that. This little guy is my other terrarium. I got this really adorable container from Amazon actually. I can link that down below if you fancy. But I have filled it with the rest of the stuff. I mean, not all of the rest, I still have a couple things in there, but the little plants and most of the other moss, and also some springtails too. You can see in there, there's a couple. But again, just doing fine, and I'm excited to watch it grow. Behind it is my tree fern fiber pole, which currently has a cup of water on it, which I don't know why it's not going through. I guess I need to figure it out. But I think things are liking it on here so far. I mean, they're not disliking it, and like this is a brand new leaf, so that's good. But I'm still getting used to this as a thing, and the amount of which I need to water it is slightly different than like the moss poles because it dries out at a different rate. So I'm still learning with this one. That's why I've put it out of the cabinet so I can like pay attention to it like quite closely when I'm watering these ones as well. Around here, the only exciting thing that's going on, I think, maybe not the only exciting thing, but the main exciting thing is that my philodendron, oh, it's not the martianum, it's the melaloni, has got a new leaf coming out. This is its first new leaf since that flower that happened a while back. So I think it might be a little bit smaller because it used a lot of energy on that. I probably should have cut off the flower right away when I saw it, but I wanted to see what it looked like, so I did keep it, though I think it did expend quite a lot of energy on putting it out. So it is a balance because I didn't have anything to fertilize it, not fertilize it, to pollinate it with. It's a bit of a shame that I've wasted the energy on that, but it's fine. I still have my Ficus Audrey here, which is actually looking quite a lot better. It grew, like ever since everything fell off, it has grown quite a bit. It's grown several leaves and they are looking really healthy, and it has some other growth points popping up here and there as well. So I think it's doing fine. It's still not my favorite based off of the way it's looking, but it's not the worst either. So it's a bit of a balance. Up at the top corner, you can see my ghost leaf is starting to go a bit brown there, which is unfortunate, but it is what happens. And unfortunately it looks like another ghost leaf is coming out. So I will probably have to chop that section like back probably completely, because this is the leaf that came out in between. At least it has some green, but that leaf doesn't look like it has any. So I probably need to chop it anyway because it's at the top of the moss pole, but I feel so bad chopping it because I feel like it's so happy otherwise. Anyways, it's all good in the hood and things are growing really well in this zone. So yeah, that is everything that is going on in my plant collection at the minute. And honestly, after last month's updates video when I literally found spider mites like live on camera with y'all, and that wasn't fun, this one feels like things are going pretty positively, and in general, I think they are. I think aside from like having a manageable amount of pests, I'm good. I'm enjoying my collection right now and things are growing pretty well. Excuse Cleo, I'm having a bit of a play. But yeah, that is it. I did want to say a big thank you to the newest member of my Good Growing fam, Viv Nightingale. Welcome to my Patreon. I really hope you enjoy it. Hello, baby. And Cleo hopes you enjoy it as well, don't you? You probably get more of her over there as well. But yeah, if anyone else fancies joining my Patreon, you can do, and get a bit of bonus content because it's fun over there. We live chats and stuff, but of course absolutely no pressure. Like, it doesn't affect my content on here, it just makes my life a little bit easier if you do join. So yeah, thanks Viv for joining in. The rest of you, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future. If I mentioned anything in this video that you want me to talk about further, bless you, I can do so. And don't forget to subscribe for more. thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!